going to just hold on just a moment or two. I'm waiting for a few other attendees to arrive. So we'll wait maybe 1-2 minutes. Good afternoon. This is Gail Vaughn, and I want to welcome you to the Customizing an Existing Deluxe Report using our Deluxe Report Designer. Those of you who have already received some reports or would like to get into the reporting, this is an introduction to taking an existing report and then customizing it, adding your own logo, changing some of the titles, etc. So this is our agenda for today. We are first going to show you how to download some of the reports that have been placed on our doc site, and then how to set it up so it has your data, your credentials in it. Then we're going to do the following topics. I've tried to keep it short because I know you all are busy. I want to keep this to close to a half an hour if possible. We're going to add a logo, change some titles and text, which is about the same as changing headers and footers, but there's a few extra features in the headers and footers that are kind of nice to use. Then we'll take a look at a table and add a column. And then I want to spend a little more time in the chart control because that has changed in the latest update. With the latest report writer that was put out, I think, last week or so, the charting control has changed its look and feel, so I want to take a few minutes and look that over a little bit better. So this is the report that we're going to be looking at today. It's the open tickets by company and board. It is available on the doc site, and as you can see, it's pretty straightforward. A report, we have a chart, and this is at the group level for company. And as you can see, we have taken the names of the company, the data that we have, and made it anonymous. And you'll see that throughout. This one has several groups to it. This one at the top level group is the company. Then within each company, it's broken up by board. And then within each board, it has the different statuses that are available in that board. This first board only has one status showing. Second board here has two. Then within each status, we have a brief little table here. We only have, looks like, one ticket in the completed stage here. You'll see it a little bit better once we actually get into the report writer. Now, if you go to docs.connectsmart.com and click on catalogs and then go to the report template section, you will see this screen right here. And as you can see, that first report that we were talking about is the first one in the list here and has a brief description of what the report does, a little screenshot, and then your second report, third report. So we are going to be adding, as available, more reports. So if you don't see a report that you want, keep looking. And you can also make suggestions. Just send your suggestions to support@connectsmart.com. And if it's a report that we think has general interest, we will schedule it to be worked on. All right, if you click on the hot link here, it will take you to a detailed section page on the report itself. It goes into a little bit more detail. This one in particular doesn't have a lot of details. The executive summary report does have a lot more detail to it since it is a lot beefier of a report. You will also find where to download the actual report. All the deluxe reports end with REPX, and the SNAP reports will be S in X. So to grab one of those, just click on that button that's on the website there and download it. I would suggest you create a file folder just for your reports, and then go and open your Deluxe Report Designer. Just click on your Windows icon and type in ConnectSMART and you'll find it listed there. If you don't have them installed already on the website, you'll find a spot there to download those. It's under the download section, and it's one file, and it will have both the Deluxe and the Snap Designer in it. So then once the designer is open, then just browse to your report and open it. And when you open it, you need to check the credentials. They should be automatically filled in for you, but if not, there are directions on this doc here on the website on how to update those credentials. What you'll be looking for is on the right side panel of the Report Designer, you'll see a Report Explorer and a Properties Grid. This one has this is the way it's set up normally. You'll go to the Report Explorer, click on SQL Data Source 1 or 2, and then once you click on it in the Properties Grid for this, it will have your database name in here, and this is your CMDB database name. So it will be something like your company name or company initials _ ConnectSMART, something like that. It will then have your password, which will be similar, your company name or initials _ and then something else to finish off the password. And your username will be down here that you registered with probably when you had your install. So if there's any questions on this, there is a document which you can see right here, which goes into this in more detail right here, and off of that also is another one talking about your credentials in case you've forgotten what those are. So once you've got it up in the designer, you can make your changes, and you have two choices at that point. Of course, you need to save it, and that will save it locally, but and you can work with it just like that. You can run it from there. You don't even need to upload it if you don't want to your CMDB tenant store, but if you want to, just use the Upload Report button in the designer ribbon on the right there, and it will upload that copy. Then you can use the io.connectsmart.com and schedule that report and have it run on your schedule. All right, the first topic that we were going to cover is adding a logo. So this is just a summary of what we're going to be doing. There are several slides here which will summarize what I'm going to go through. So if you lose it, just go back. These slides and the webinar will be posted at probably by Monday or Tuesday of the next week. So let's take a look at the report itself. I have already got it loaded, and this is that one section where I asked you to check your credentials. Notice we have the field list up at this point, and click on the Report Explorer. You would click here, then you would open up this section right here, which would have your credentials. Obviously, I'm not going to open it now because it has our demo credentials in it. All right, so here's our report, and let me just give you a brief view of the tour of the designer here. Along the side, we have all the controls that can be added. Now, this is a chart control, which is this little fellow right here. And we have a table, which is right here, which actually had the ticket number, company name that you saw in that sample. Then those groupings that I talked about, the company name grouping is here in this section and this group. Here is the board name group and the status group right here with the column headings for the table right here. If you click right in here, you'll notice that those groups down at the bottom are listed here, and whether to show a footer for those groups, which I have turned off at the moment. All right, the first item that we want to do is add a logo. Now, you could add your logo right in here. We could open up space to do that, but I'm actually going to open up the logo right in this little section right here. The report designer allows you to have multiple report sections, and all the work has been done in this detail report section right here, but we have another one available to us right here. Notice at the moment it is collapsed, so open that section, and then we're going to notice the little line there. We're going to open up an area right here where we can add our logo. And we'll go over here. Notice we have a control for picture box. Just click on it and drop a section for it. Now, most of our controls will have a smart tag, which is this little tiny little arrow right here. So open that smart tag up, and we are just going to go and browse for our logo. Now, I've already got it set up. You'll just have browse to it wherever it is, find it, open it, and we can close this off. And there is our logo right there. We can size this also, just like you're used to sizing in other applications. All right, now if we want to add some other title, label, company name, whatever, that would be a label or a text label. Again, I just clicked on it and I can drop in. I notice I double clicked in there, and I can add some label that I want. And we also have a smart tag for it, which we don't really need at the moment. But what I do want to do is bump up the size a little bit, and I can change its color, all these things that you're used to doing in any application. So I don't really matter what colors we put there, but all the normal features, the bolding, underline, the justification, etc., the fill colors, everything are available in this section. So now if, for instance, I'm going to add something in that I did not have on my list just because I thought it was important, was hiding a section. It could be that you don't want this chart, this section for the chart to show. You just want the table to show. And to hide a section, it's very simple. Notice I'm going to go to that section. The blue border tells me what section I'm in. And if you'll notice, it has changed over here in the properties grid, and it now is my group header 4, matching group header 4 here. And I usually like to sort this alphabetically because it's easier. And if you go down to the bottom, you'll see a visible yes right now. If you just toggle that to no, it will show in the designer, but when you actually go to show the report, it will not print the report. So that's one feature. Another feature while I'm here that I wanted to show you is this keep together, which will keep, if it has multiple sections that could break across page, this will say, no, I want you to float it to the next page. And also has some page break if you want a hard page break here. So some nice features on the smart tag. All right, so that is logos. And I did show you a little bit about text. So let's go on up to look at the headers and footers. Now notice I have a report header band right here, which is exactly what it sounds like. And on it I have just a label here, which is incorrect because this is sorted by company and board. So I want to put in, and just as simple as that, type it in, and that changes my header there. And here is a very interesting little feature. This is a control called page info, which is down here. And let me pull out its smart tag for you. And notice there it is, current date and time. And here are some choices that you have for page number, totals of page numbers, etc. Username, So a few choices on the page info task that you can have dropped in on your header or footer. Notice you also have a formatting, which is pretty standard how this works, and choices here, and I'm going to cancel that because I like this format right there. Now for the footer, notice I have used the page 1 of 1, and here is the one you want for that. Current of total, page number, and notice the formatting on this one. This one's a little odd, the formatting. So this is what that formatting would look like. Page, and then your suffix to get that of total number of pages. This is what you would need to put in. The word of, if you want that in there, space, and then the curly bracket 1 curly bracket will give you the total number of pages. So let's pop back over to our slides for a minute. And this is, again, just a summary of adding a logo. And our next topic is adding a column to our table. So down in our details section, this is the section that gets repeated with every ticket number that meets the criteria for the report. We have our little table right here. And I want to add a column, let's say, in here that to tweak this a bit. So I'm going to click on right here, and I'm going to right-click, insert. Now I'm going to insert a cell instead of using one of these, which will resize the table length there. I'm just going to say insert a cell, and notice it maintained the border here, kept it within the size, and has added a cell right here. Now I want to do the same thing obviously for the title, the column titles. And there we go. Now to get information in them, you can use their SMART tag. And notice text is here. So I'm going to change that text. I'm going to add the source of this ticket. So I want to label that as source. And then this one, since it's in the actual table itself, I want the source field, the data field that I have that was brought in from my query. So I'm going to eliminate the text, drop down the data binding. Now, if you had noticed up at the top of this section, the query that we were using was listed there. I'll show you that as soon as we're out of this. And it was the custom SQL query. And here's all the fields that we need. Notice there's my ticket number is down here. There it is, ticket number, and we have the company name and all that. And we want to add in the source, so I'll just click on it. Now that source field, as you can see, has been dropped in right there. We also had some choices about formatting there, whether it can grow, the word will wrap or not. So that's all there is. I can size these because obviously the source is not going to be as big as our summary. And there you go. That's all there is to adding a column. Now if you wanted to get rid of a column, it's just as easy to do. Right click on it, say delete, which we're not going to do because I want to keep these in here. All right, so that is adding a column. Now let's move on to the chart. And as I said, I want to spend a few extra moments on that. This is, if I click here, it has a SMART tag. But what I first want to do is copy this one and duplicate it and change. Right now, this chart is listing every board across the bottom here, board names, and the count of tickets for this company for that board. So I want to make a second one that does the same thing, but by status. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to size this one a little bit. I want to make this one a little smaller. I'm going to grab down here also and make a little room to make sure I have plenty of room. I'm going to make sure that the border is highlighted so I have it. I'll do my Control-C to copy it, click off of it, and Control-V and paste it in. Now you see that it's pink. That means you have overlapping controls. So I just am using my down arrow to move it. You can actually grab it also and move it that way. So now I have a duplicate of my other chart. Now to make the change so that this is by status instead, let's use its SMART tag, and we're going to run the chart designer. And here is our chart designer. So at the moment, we have, notice, a series called board, which is this one was board, and I'm going to change that to status. So I'm going to click on this, and notice on the right here now is all the details for that series that we're currently using. So I'm going to change this to status. This is just the title for the series. To change the data on the series, I have two options here. One is to drop it down here. Notice right now it's board name. We were working with the custom SQL query here, and I'm just going to take my status description and drop it there, and it's changed now is to reflect the status. The other way I could have done it was over here on the properties page for those of you who are fearless, and the argument here, if you'll notice, says status description because I just dropped that in there. And down here says what I'm doing. I'm counting the number that fall in that status, in that group, and organizing it in that manner. So we have changed the data. Now this will reflect that when we run the report in just a few minutes. But before we leave this section, I want to do a few other things. I want to show you this little button. This will change the chart type. If you just click on it, notice all the options you have here. We have bar graphs, scatter charts, area. We have donuts, candlesticks, all kinds of choices here. Another thing you can add is the legend, which in this particular chart doesn't really, is not really needed because we only have one series, and then we'll change this name in just a second to reflect that, so we don't need it. But if you did want one, you could come in here, click on legend, and notice right now it's great because we don't have one, and the visibility button right here will then toggle that on. That also is shown right here, visibility. You could have toggled it that way. Notice if I toggle that, that checkbox goes off. So to add that in, just click on that. You also have options for that, for where you want it located, and just pick one. How you want it to, if there's multiple items, whether you want them to be across or down, and where you want it located, etc. Quite a few options on the legend. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off since we really don't need that. All right. Now to fix this title, let's just go ahead and click on it right here, and notice there's our text right there, and I'm going to change that to open tickets by status. And there's some other options here that you can use. Again, it has its own little visibility little tag right there, or up in here. You can dock or move that various places. Right now I have it at the top, but you can move it bottom, left, right. You can also center it if you want, or put it on this far side over here. So a couple of choices there. And notice again on the properties button, you can do some of the same things here. You can change this font, style, and size, etc., and its text color. Another option that we have here is to change the palette colors. And that is found by just clicking on the chart button right here. And you'll notice we have a bunch of colors that you could pick here, all organized and coordinated for you, or you can change the colors in here also. And these two, the appearance and the palette, work together to get a different style and look and feel. One other topic we want to cover today is the point labels. And that will be found on each series that you have. So if you had more than one series, you have a set of point labels that would go with each series. So let's expand this button right here. And you'll notice that the labels now are, again, the visibility button is off. So just click it on, and now notice we have point labels on each one of our bars to indicate, in this case, the count of tickets, which, again, this is just sample stuff here. So when it's run, they will be a true count. You can also say where you want those to be placed. When you actually click on the labels, you can tell where you want that to be dropped. And some other options that you have here, how you want them organized, etc. So one other option, which I did not put on the slide, was the axes. You also have the choice where you can slant the axes or place them in different manners. So just click on your axes, and then your choices here are also available. So that is our chart feature. Now let's take a quick look at the kinds of things that we did today. And notice we have a little star right here at the name. That means that we have not saved this. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And now I'm going to do a print preview. And notice this one, we did not have a chance today to go over parameters. That's a little more involved feature. But I'm going to pick my company, number 2, and just click Submit. And there is our report. There is our change in the header with the logo and name that we put at the top, our duplicated chart with my status, and then the actual report. This one doesn't seem to have a source, but yeah, this one does, email connector, so our added features there. Okay, I have tried to keep this to the point, and if you have questions, we have just a minute or two for a question. And if you just can't think of a question at the moment here, let me take a quick look. Hold. Yes, this slide show will be available on the website as a download. That's a good question. I don't know if it's available for download, but I will be making a doc which will be as close to the slideshow, so it will suffice even if the slide deck itself is not available. Probably, again, Monday or Tuesday, there will be a regular document on the website for that. Okay, David has answered that, and yes, if we can, if possible. Any other questions? What I would encourage you to do is, as you use the new reports that are up, we will be updating those periodically with fresh and new reports. And you come up with questions that you send those to support@ConnectSMART.com, and we can put together a part 2 to modifying existing reports for you and maybe answer all of them at once. We can also answer them individually for your immediate need. So please, we encourage you to use those reports, send us suggestions for new ones. And if there's no other questions, I appreciate your attendance and thank you for using ConnectSMART. Good day.